What you are going to see today, very interesting, to do with Tefillin. Tefillin, as you see here, it's called Tefillin Shel Rosh, that one put on his head, but it's also hand. Now what you see is the brain connecting. Now in fact what you are going to see more about this, the brain, and this in fact is in Hebrew. I hope that we find it in English, because the person who wrote is Dr. Brian Langston from England, neurologist, I think he's professor. He used to come to holiday, and the holiday he came to learn yeshiva. And he came to yeshiva that I was teaching about Vagan. Yeshiva was in Yerushalayim, Bar Yerushalayim. He lived in Beit Vagan for the holiday. Next to me, knew my books, and very interesting fellow. And he did amazing research in Hebrew, what is in Soda Tefillin, the secret of Tefillin, in psychology, in science, and Kabbalah. Dr. Brian Langston, neurolog, and he shows that in English he written there, Ben Olam Ansha, between the word of the neshama, the soul which dwells in the brain, we know, when he puts the tefillin, we said, we put the tefillin opposite the brain. The Ben Tefillin, there exists really, systemness, means the brain and the tefillin are the same, means the suited, because the build-up of the brain is what he says, as the same build-up of the tefillin. Now the obvious thing he says here is that the tefillin of the head have 4 compartments, and the brain also mainly the 4 ones. He explained in details everything, like here one of them, he says here, okay, it is in Hebrew, but he shows that the 4 compartments in the tefillin of the head are against the compartment of the brain, and he says even the contents of those Yachar Kadesh in the left side are fitting the part of the left side in the brain with the speech calculation. Also in the right side is more music, emotions. Okay, good. As a professor, he knows all these things, and he's really an Englishman. I looked for this which was translated to Hebrew in English, but I could not find. I don't know. Maybe somebody will find, because it is very, very interesting. It is very highly, it means scientific, all the details, how the brain is built up, and how it exactly fits with the feeling. So, as I said, this is the person is called Brian Langston, neurolog, and what is the title of his research is The Secret of the Tefillin in Psychology, in Science, and Kabbalah. No, if you will find it, it will be nice. And people who knows really a little bit about the brain, the build-up of the brain, really enjoy it when you see the connection. As I said in my books, and I came to learn yeshiva for Horowitz level at the Dvar Shalom where I was teaching, and we spoke a lot, and he told me really that he's doing at that time, I think he started it, or that he's doing this research. But really what I am interested to show is something else, to do with a secret number, with a magic number, you call it, about 1820, the 3,300 years old secret, www.1820.co.il, and in fact, if you look in my explanation, I have explained why this number, what it means, and what is the message in it, and then I bring also quite a few interesting findings, which are like Messiah 1820, Israel 1820. What now I'm going to show you that Tefillin at Tefillin 1820. Once in the Torah, you see in this table in Hebrew, you have the word ha-tefillin, the tefillin, 1820, once in the Torah. Amazing. No, where it appears, what is the idea behind those appearances? The first thing is amazing that it appears exactly with the idea of Tefillin. If somebody knows that Tefillin is like kind of remembers to Egypt, what Jews came out of Egypt, and what is written there, Ki bechozek yad, with strong hand, God took us from Egypt. You find also, again, some here also, Egypt. So coming out from English, seeing in English the strong hand of God shown in Egypt, has to do with Tefillin. Anybody who knows a little bit. Then you have here the famous song on the sea, which also shows the power of God. The hands which are building the temple. Yeah, you brought him to the land, your inheritance, and the temple that your hands did. So it means the hands have very important things. The left one represents more the physical, as is known, the materialistic side of the world. Then you have son of Jesse, because the Messiah keeping Tefillin, so on. Then you have a very interesting verse about the glory of God which dwelled on Sinai. In fact, according to Kabbalah, the build-up of the Tefillin also have to do with the temple, the build-up of the chambers of the temple, and the temple really is like the continuation of the glory of God which was shown in Sinai. Then we have the verses like covering the Tefillin on chapter which tell us, Shmor lecha et Hashem echasa. Keep what I commanded you today. If you will keep it, all your enemies, all those strangers in your land who are making a lot of trouble, will go away. So, and also, all of this depends to do everything which was commanded. Then you have Messiah, you have son of Jesse, and Elijah. So it's unbelievable, the table, which once in the Torah, 1820, and 1820 is a magical number. It's versatile to see all of it in this site, 1820.com, as you saw. Because it is, if you see yourself, it is unbelievable phenomenon, but there is explanation for 1820. Yeah, 1820 is a gematria of multiplication of the secret of God, the power of God. Okay, if you have patience, look at my this. But all this 1820 appears in Exodus, very interesting, for chapter 12, into chapters, which is a little bit of the third, but it's interesting because a lot of the story have to do with Exodus, really, Egypt, as we said, which the Tefillin remind us. Now, what you see here is really the cover of a book which is called Tefillin, the inside story. People think Tefillin, what you have inside? Nice boxes? No, it contains a lot of secrets, lots of ideas. I think more than 200 pages, I think the Targum brought it. Yeah, it's very good Feldheim. He is my pupil from South Africa Yeshiva, Henry Emmanuel, now he's in London, Moshe. Yeah, and he brings unbelievable ideas, what is behind the Persian, the number of this. So feeling is not simple at all. What you saw from this side of the brain, as we said, and also if the gematria and ideas, number of letters, and a lot in this book. So, feeling is not simple at all. Now, Tefillin, Kabbalah says really about Tefillin that it comes to the numerical value of 580, like the numerical value of the two evil forces, which is Lilith and Samael, really. And the same Gematria shows that the feeling, the holiness, the sanctity of feeling is against the contamination, or you call it the tumah, the evil forces, really, of the Samael, which is the evil force of the brain. It means to do with Amalek, and Lilith, which is the last, the last desire, all this in the heart. So the brain and the heart, this is the place of the sanctity of God one get by Kedusha. And this is really also very important because it is a very, very important, as no doubt these evil forces, the brain, the evil force there is definitely something which causes a lot of damage. A man's mind does not work properly, wrong ideas. So the sanctity of Tefillin purified, sanctifies the mind from wrong ideas, while the Tefillin of the yad, of the hand, which is opposite the heart, is against the evil force of prostitution, of everything to do with lust and so on, which is a Lilith. So, as is amazing, the Gematria is the same to show you, because the Tefillin is against these evil forces. Unfortunately, this is exactly the translation of Mitzad HaGava, the parade, of pride, which is unfortunately to do with desire, lust, and like pride, which is exactly these evil forces. So, as I said, very interesting table about the Tefillin appearing in 1820, and there is a book, I think, if you can get it, Feldam Targum, and then if you can find the article about the secret of Tefillin, the psychology in science and Kabbalah by Dr. Brian Langster, neurolog, no doubt that you will enjoy very much to see the beauty of the Tefillin, to go with her. Then, as I said, all these unbelievable phenomena of the 1820 and the secret of the Tefillin and the brain.